There is no sound in football more iconic than this. The UEFA Champions League anthem. For millions of fans around the world, it represents the highest level of club football ever played. The greatest players, the biggest clubs, the most unforgettable nights. But this competition almost never existed. In fact, for nearly 40 years, Europe's premier club tournament looked nothing like the spectacle we know today. There were no group stages, no Tuesday or Wednesday nights, no billion-euro television deals, and certainly no famous anthem echoing through packed stadiums. Instead, it was a brutal knockout tournament known simply as the European Cup. So why was it changed? Who decided football needed a complete revolution? And how did one competition become the biggest club tournament on earth? This is the story of the birth of the UEFA Champions League. The story begins in 1955. Europe was still rebuilding after the Second World War. Club football existed almost entirely within domestic borders. Real Madrid, Manchester United, Milan, Benfica. These were legendary clubs, but they rarely faced one another. That changed when French journalist Gabriel Hanot proposed a competition to determine Europe's greatest club. UEFA embraced the idea. Thus, the European Champion Clubs Cup, the European Cup, was born. Only one club from each country could enter. Only league champions qualified. And every round was played over 2 knockout matches. Lose once, and your European dream was over. It was ruthless, but it was magical. Real Madrid won the first 5 editions. Ajax dominated in the early 1970s. Liverpool ruled Europe under Bob Paisley. Then came Bayern Munich, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Steaua Bucharest, Red Star Belgrade. Unexpected champions emerged because every match felt like a final. The European Cup became football's greatest prize. Yet by the late 1980s, its future looked uncertain. European football entered one of its darkest periods. Crowd violence became common. Television audiences were falling. Many stadiums were outdated and unsafe. Then came the Heysel Stadium disaster in 1985. Before the European Cup final between Liverpool and Juventus, violence caused a wall to collapse. 39 supporters lost their lives. English clubs were banned from European competitions for 5 years. The tournament's reputation suffered enormously. Then in 1989, another tragedy. The Hillsborough disaster. 97 Liverpool supporters eventually lost their lives due to a catastrophic crush. Football could no longer continue as it had. Governments demanded safer stadiums. Broadcasters wanted a better television product. Sponsors wanted more guaranteed matches. UEFA realized the European Cup needed to evolve or risk becoming irrelevant. At the same time, football itself was changing. Serie A had become the richest league in the world. Maradona, Van Basten, Gullit, Rijkaard, Brahim, Klinsmann, Matthäus. Every superstar seemed to play in Italy. Television companies discovered something important. Fans wanted more than one meeting between Europe's elite. Why should Milan and Real Madrid only meet once every few years? Why eliminate Barcelona after one bad night? The knockout format created unpredictability. But unpredictability wasn't ideal for television. Broadcasters preferred certainty. They wanted guaranteed fixtures, guaranteed ratings, guaranteed advertising revenue. The business side of football had begun to reshape the sport. UEFA introduced an experiment. For the 1991-92 season, after the quarterfinals, the remaining clubs were divided into two groups. Each team played multiple matches. The winners met in the final. The experiment worked. Television audiences increased dramatically. Sponsors invested more money. Fans loved seeing Europe's biggest clubs face each other repeatedly. Then UEFA made an even bigger decision. Starting in 1992, the European Cup would become the UEFA Champions League. The name alone sounded grander, more modern, more marketable. It wasn't just a tournament anymore. It had become a global brand. Every great competition needs an identity. UEFA wanted something unforgettable. British composer Tony Britton was commissioned to create a theme inspired by George Frideric Handel's Zadok the Priest. The result became one of sport's greatest pieces of music, the Champions League anthem. It lasts just 3 minutes. Yet players often describe hearing it as one of the proudest moments of their careers. Children dream of walking onto the pitch while it plays. Fans instantly recognize every note. It transformed football into theater. Before a ball had even been kicked, the atmosphere already felt historic. The Champions League wasn't just a sporting revolution. It became an economic revolution. Television rights exploded. Global sponsors lined up. Prize money increased every season. Soon, qualifying for the Champions League became almost as important as winning domestic titles. The richest clubs grew even richer. Real Madrid, Manchester United, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, AC Milan. Their revenues soared. Smaller clubs struggled to keep pace. Success created wealth. Wealth created more success. European football had entered a new era. Then came another revolution. In 1995, the Bosman ruling changed football forever. Players could move freely after their contracts expired. Foreign player restrictions within the European Union were dramatically reduced. Suddenly, Europe's elite clubs could assemble international super teams. The Champions League became even stronger. Instead of featuring mostly domestic players, clubs became collections of the world's greatest talent. Football was becoming global. UEFA continued expanding the tournament. Eventually, runners-up qualified. Then third-placed teams. Later, even fourth-placed clubs from major leagues. Traditionalists argued that only champions should compete. Supporters welcomed more blockbuster matches. Whatever your opinions, the Champions League became football's most valuable annual competition. Its global audience stretched into hundreds of countries. Its final became one of the world's most watched sporting events. The new format created unforgettable memories. Manchester United's comeback in 1999. Liverpool's miracle of Istanbul in 2005. Barcelona's stunning comeback against Paris Saint-Germain. Real Madrid's 3 consecutive titles. Chelsea's triumph in Munich. Inter Milan's treble. The competition became football's greatest stage. Every generation created its own iconic nights. The Champions League was born because football had to change. It needed safer stadiums, better television, more revenue, more global appeal. Some believe football lost part of its romance. Others believe it entered its greatest era. Both arguments contain truth. Without the Champions League, modern football would look completely different. The game's finances, its biggest clubs, its greatest rivalries, even the careers of players like Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, Luka Modric, and countless others would have unfolded differently. What began in 1955 as a simple knockout competition became the most prestigious club tournament in world football. Every season, 36 clubs dream of lifting one trophy. Only one succeeds. And when that anthem begins to play, the entire football world stops to listen. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments. Was the old European Cup better than today's Champions League? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next football story.